You thought you were healing. You learned to detach, to let go. But does this healing feel less like freedom and more like a prison? A quiet, empty room where you're safe from getting hurt, but you're also cut off from the warmth of a real connection. If that sounds familiar, you've likely stumbled into the emotional detachment trap. It's what happens when a survival mechanism becomes a life sentence. But the good news is, it's a sentence you can get out of. In this video, I'm going to show you the steps to finally break free and find your way back to a life you can actually feel. For so many of us, emotional detachment starts as a way to survive. When you're in a situation that's overwhelming, painful, or traumatic, your mind has an incredible way of protecting you. Withdrawing emotionally is a coping strategy to reduce the anxiety of the moment. It's an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation, which, ironically, makes it a perfectly normal response. At the time, stepping back from your feelings was the right choice, the healthy choice, maybe the only choice you had to get through it. The problem, the trap, is that this survival mechanism doesn't always have an off switch itch. It can become your default setting long after the danger has passed. You carry this shield of detachment into your present, maybe even thinking it's a sign of strength or enlightenment. You tell yourself you're above the drama. But deep down, it doesn't feel like peace. It just feels quiet, empty. You might be able to talk about what happened to you with a chilling, clinical coldness, but you can't connect with the feeling of it. This is the core of the trap. What once protected you now imprisons you. It's like living behind a wall that keeps the pain out, but it also blocks out love, joy, and true connection. You're not healed, you're just numb. And that numbness has a cost, showing up as two hidden cells inside this prison you've built. The first cell is built with the bricks of false hope, and it's especially common in relationships. It's an agonizing cycle that works like this. A partner acts in a hurtful, neglectful, or even abusive way. In response, you do what you've learned to do best. You detach emotionally to protect yourself. But then, their behavior shifts. They become kind, apologetic, maybe even loving. This return of positive attention after a negative episode. Isord is a powerful and often manipulative pattern. In that moment of kindness, an addictive kind of hope is born. You think, maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe they've finally changed. This isn't real hope, it's a psychological trap called intermittent reinforcement. That unpredictable switch between pain and pleasure is one of the most powerful forms of behavioral conditioning. It's what keeps a gambler pulling the lever on a slot machine, and it's what keeps you hooked in this cycle. During the good periods, you start to deny or minimize how bad the bad times really were. This cycle is so powerful that research shows it can take a survivor an average of 7 attempts to permanently leave an abusive relationship. False hope is a primary reason for returning. You stay in the relationship, but you're not really there. You're emotionally numb to survive the lows, yet completely invested in the false hope of the highs. You're trapped existing, but not really living. The second cell is the endless loop of repeating past mistakes. This happens when emotional detachment stops you from processing the pain of your own history. You become an expert at thinking about your emotions rather than actually feeling them. This defense mechanism is called intellectualization. You might have a perfect, logical explanation for your difficult childhood or why a past relationship failed. You've read the books, you know the terms, you can talk about your trauma with stunning clarity. I used to think this made me incredibly self-aware. I realized that for all my understanding, I was still stuck in the same patterns, feeling just as disconnected. That's because real healing isn't an intellectual exercise. You can't think your way out of a wound you didn't think your way into. The unconscious mind doesn't run on logic, it runs on feeling. When you don't let yourself truly feel the grief, shame, or anger from a past event, that emotional energy stays stuck. This is the root of what psychologists call repetition compulsion, an unconscious drive to reenact early traumas. Your mind subconsciously draws you to people and situations that mirror the original wound, not to punish you, but in a desperate attempt to finally resolve it and get a different ending. But because you're emotionally detached, you just play out the same script again and again, intellectually seeing on the pattern but feeling powerless to change it. What you refuse to feel, you are destined to repeat. So, how do you break out? The key isn't building stronger walls. It's finding the courage to take them down, brick by brick. Here are 4 steps to start your escape. The first step is to stop rationalizing and minimizing. Your healing can only begin when you accept the reality of your situation, not just in your head, but in your heart. This means fighting the temptation of hope when there's no evidence for it. A powerful way to do this is to document reality. Keep a private journal. Write down the facts of what happened, the hurtful words, the neglectful actions. When the good times return and your mind gets fuzzy, read it. This isn't about dwelling on negativity, it's about staying grounded in truth to fight the manipulation of false hope. You have to learn to move out of your head and into your body. Intellectualizing is a habit, you can build a new one. Start small. Set a timer for just 2 minutes. Close your eyes and ask, what am I feeling right now? Don't analyze it, just name it. Sadness, anger, fear. Then ask, where is this feeling in my body? Is it tight? S in your chest. A pit in your stomach. Just notice the physical sensation without judgment. Breathe into it. Your emotions aren't problems to solve, they're experiences to be had. By giving them a little space, you teach your nervous system it's safe to feel again. Emotional detachment feels draining because all your energy is going into maintaining the wall. Setting boundaries is how you redirect that energy back to yourself. This might look like not responding to a text immediately. It might mean saying no to a request. It might mean limiting contact with people who are part of that false hope cycle. Healthy detachment means choosing not to be pulled into someone else's emotional drama. It's about recentering your energy on yourself. This isn't selfish, it's the foundation of real healing. The prison of detachment convinces you that you must heal alone. That is a lie. Healing happens in connection. Seek support from a trusted friend, a family member, or a qualified therapist. Sharing your experience with someone who can listen with empathy without trying to fix you is profoundly healing. It proves to your wounded inner self that connection doesn't always equal pain. It's an equal safety and comfort. Therapy, especially, provides a safe space to explore the roots of your detachment and learn to reconnect with yourself and others. Remember, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a declaration that you're ready to be free. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content on real healing. And here's a small challenge. After this video, just try step 2. Set a timer for 2 minutes and just ask yourself what you're feeling. It's a small step, but every step out of the prison counts. The journey out of the emotional detachment trap isn't easy. It requires you to willingly walk toward the very feelings you've spent a lifetime trying to avoid. But the life waiting for you on the other side is one of authenticity, connection, and real peace. You survived by learning to detach. That took incredible strength. Now, it's time to use that same strength to learn how to reconnect. The quiet, empty room may have kept you safe, but the whole world is outside, waiting for you to truly live in it. You are not broken. You are a survivor who is ready for the next stage of healing. And that is a beautiful, hopeful place to be.